Alright, so let's look at a couple ways to finish the leg lock attacks from this position. And again, like we were talking about earlier, people have a lot of different names for this. I'm just going to call it the saddle. So we'll call it the saddle if we've got this body triangle and we're looking to attack the inside heel hook. So a lot of people try some different moves from here. They try the straight ankle lock, they try pummel under and go for the knee bar. But for me, it's like, let's just go straight for the most damaging move straight away, the move that's going to work on everyone. So obviously, it's going to be the inside heel hook. But we do have a problem here, man. If I want to attack the inside, I can't just let go of this leg because they start to roll away and hide the heel. So what we want to do is we want to find a way to control the hips and give us time to attack the heel. We're going to do that by crisscrossing the legs, right? So we're here, again, we're on the side of the leg we want to attack. The first reason we do that is because when I put them on the same side hip of the leg I want to attack, it makes it hard for them to hide their heel here. If we were square, they can turn their foot quite far, like not even like that. It's going to be harder to reach, right? It's easier to reach when we're on this hip, so it's easy to attack, it's harder for them to hide. So again, we got this straight ankle lock grip. So now let's look at how to crisscross the legs. What I want to do, I want to cut the Achilles of their top leg, the leg I've got the straight ankle lock grip on. And I want to move myself out of the way, and I want to frame against this leg. Because just like we were talking about earlier, if we can bend the leg, it's going to be harder for him to rip it out. So again, we go through, we duck, like frame against it. I pull this leg into my pocket, and I sit on it. So obviously, we're not going to keep this here forever, but we're going to keep it here long enough to attack this. Against really good guys, cupping it in the hip might not be enough. Let's change the angle here. Against really good guys, or really flexible guys, just sitting on this isn't going to be enough because they're going to be able to pull their knee back towards us and roll away. So sometimes we're holding at the ankle, they can still pull, you can still turn your hips. See, so flexible guys, that's not enough control. So we want to cup the knee. So once they're crisscrossed, we cup the knee, now try and turn away. It's going to be much harder. So that's the difference. That's a detail there that will save you against high level guys. If you hold the ankle, they can drag their knee away and turn their hips. So if you turn, you see that, right? So it's not good enough control, so we're coming back. So we want to cup the knee. We're going to cup that time. And we can cup it with the opposite arm to the one we're going to attack with. So again, our left arm, we're on our left hip, our left arm's going to block the knee. What they're going to do still is they're going to try and turn their foot. They don't want to leave their heel hanging here. If they leave their heel hanging here, they're pretty much giving us the heel hook. We can reach for it however we want if it's there. What they want to do is turn their foot away. So now if I reach with the elbow, it's hard to get the heel. So we need to create a heel exposure here. So I want to bring the toes to my armpit, and I want to elbow strike the toes here. And we bring the elbow to our body. So again, elbow strike and turn your thumb out. So they're hiding the heel. We're not reaching with the elbow. We're dragging our armpit there, and we're elbow striking and pointing the thumb out. From here, we can grab either this cupping grip, or we can just point the thumb towards us. And then we can let go of the knee and make the gable grip transition. And same way we finish the outside heel hook, right? So if you think about the foot, the shoulders are going to drag the toes that way. Our gable grip's going to drag the heel that way, and we're going to apply hip pressure. So you should be able to finish this with one hand. Obviously in competition use two, but just for the sake of practicing, we'll get a finish. So the heel's going this way, toes are going that way, and our hips are coming up. So the way I learned to practice this is I would secure the grip, I would go to the point of tapping, I'd let go of it, and then I would complete the movement. So that way it builds the practice of completing the heel hook from start to finish, because the heel hook, unfortunately, isn't one of... Sometimes you can catch a submission dead to rights. You've got it, you don't need to hurt your opponent to finish it. But with the heel hook, it's very hard to find an area of complete control where you can just block it down and they can't get out. Usually if you hesitate with the heel hook, they escape. I've made that mistake in competition before, giving someone time to tap, and they've escaped, actually come back and beat me. But you want to get in the habit of, once you grab the heel hook grip, that's when they should tap. So you want to be in the habit of practicing completing. You want to always get the grip and complete the movement from beginning to end. So when we're drilling it, go to the point of when they need a tap, then complete the movement. it'll just build that habit. Because you don't want to hesitate. It might be the only opportunity you get on someone's leg. So let's do this crisscross attack again. We'll do it from a different angle. So again, just the position we were doing before. We got the body triangle. We're on our side here. We've got the straight ankle lock grip. Again, we're not trying to straight ankle lock, and no one's really going to tap to that. So what we're going to do, we're going to cut the Achilles, and instead of just trying to drag the foot across, we move ourselves out of the way. I frame against their leg here. If they're real strong, I can even grab my own leg for extra support. So I drag this out of the way, and then I come back up, and I'm cupping the knee here. So again, check that you've got control. Ask your opponent to try and turn away. They can't do it right. So now I cut with the left, and I start to attack this. And again, they don't just leave their heel floating in the air, they try and turn their foot away. So we want to reach towards it and elbow strike the toes and turn your thumb out. And again, heel is below the wrist, it's not in the elbow. This is the ideal position. So either we're doing this cupping there, or we're putting the thumb towards us. So one of the two, both are going to secure it. So then, once we've got the heel, we let go, we grab the gable, we've got the tap here, but we have this much more room to finish. So there's one finish, probably the safest finish to apply the heel hook from the saddle position with cross control. So that's one way to deal with when people want to do the running man escape. Some people don't have that in-depth level of escapes, and what they'll actually do is when we have the saddle, they'll just cross their feet. And again, this is one of those ones where it's like, you might have sophisticated attacks from the saddle, but because no one really does this in your gym, you come into a competition, they do something so simple as cross their feet, and you have a lot of trouble breaking your hip. So we've got to address this. This isn't something to worry about. They're not, while their feet are crossed, they're not trying to escape the position. They're sort of locking it down. They're limiting our ability to attack. That's all they're doing here, right? So we want to do a grip break here. So I want to take my inside hand and grab the Achilles here. And I want to cup the top of the shin. And what we want to do is we want to do this push and pull. But there's a bit more detail to it. So when we break it, immediately we want to pull the toes into the armpit. So I don't want to strip this grip and then try and reach for the heel. We might get it, we might not get it. Well, they're crossing their feet, so we want to come under. We want to grab the Achilles. Frame on top of the shin. Don't grab the shin and try and push it away. Try and palm it away, right? So we've got this counter force here. As soon as the grip strip, I pull the toes into my armpit and I secure the one hand grip. And again, either cup it or thumb towards you. But get used to, as soon as the grip strip, we pull the toes and we secure the grip. And we do it in transition. So again, this happens a lot, especially guys less experienced with heel hooks. I mean, I wouldn't cross my feet, it'd be the last resort, because it's like tucking your chin on a choke. You're not trying to escape, you're just trying to limit their submission. And we should be trying to get out of this position, right? So again, the right hand's gonna cup their left Achilles. The left palm is gonna go on the top of their right leg. We get this pop, straight away, pull a bend into the leg, toes into the armpit, and cup it, and then we can finish the heel. So again, hips in, heel to the center line, and we'll get the tap. Or sometimes we land with our back flat. If we land with our back flat, we want to drag our shoulders in towards the foot. That's going to bend the toes this way. The hands are going to lift the heel up, and the hips are going to create some bridging pressure, and they should feel it inside the knee. But that's another thing with heel hooks, right? Ultimately, they should break both the ankle and the knee, depending on people's different flexibilities. I've tracked the heel hook guys with really flexible hips, really flexible knees, and quite often it'll be the ankle pop first. So it changes with different people, different body types. So as long as they're tapping, that's the most important point. Eventually, if the move's done correctly, it'll break both, just depending on different body types. One or the other will bust first. Hopefully the ankle for their sake. Alright, let's look at one more defense, right? And this is what flexible guys do. So sometimes we get to the saddle. I mean, guys come up with creative responses. Flexible guys will try and grab their own foot, and they're holding it. Sometimes they even use two hands, right? And it's very difficult for me to now create a heel exposure. Again, I don't think these guys are doing this. There's not an escape they're trying to do. So in that respect, we shouldn't be panicking too much, right? Once you've got this position, as long as there's time left on the clock, keep the position, and eventually we're going to find the finish, right? So this is just, they're limiting our finish. But what we can do, we can throw a different attack in, and the defense of that attack will lead us back to the inside heel hook. So instead of fighting this direct on, we're going to just go for a toe hold. So I bring my hand under, grab the toes, and I start to apply pressure in. And what's the defense to a toe hold? Extend the leg. So as they extend the leg to defend that, we transition back to the inside heel hook. So we're in the saddle here. So a real quick one, but this is something that comes up. Even guys that haven't learned much leg locks, flexible guys will just grab that foot. So instead of fighting the head on, outside hand under, grab the toes, then grab your forearm. They start to stretch, switch back, and finish the exact same way. So heel in, and hips in. Let's look at one more, we'll look at two more options. Let's look at, so we're talking about the running man escape where they turn and try and run away. I will say this, right, if they turn and run, so don't be too, this is a leg lock DVD, don't be too one-track minded on we have to finish the leg lock. So I'll talk about this in more detail, right? But you have to understand when the leg lock's gone, and it's better to transition to something else. So if they've actually done the running man escape and they've completely hidden the heel, instead of trying to chase it here, they've exposed their backs. Usually they're up on two hands trying to, we want to take this out and attack the back. So let's not give up. We don't have to finish the leg locks, right? I still think if you can get someone's back, that's way better than the saddle position. The back should have a much higher finishing percentage and should be a much harder position for them to escape, right? So say we've missed this leg. Say we're trying to go, they've turned away. They've hidden the heel. Instead of keeping attacking here, let's just use it to turn it into a sweep or back ten. So I have to say it, that's like, just because we're in the saddle, we can use it to finish. In my match with Leandro, I got him into the saddle twice. He escaped both times, but he was respecting the position. The third time, in the points period, I went for the saddle, cleared the knee, and I tried to turn it into a sweep. And that's what ultimately led to the back take. If I'd just been focusing on the leg lock, I might have missed the leg completely and been back to a neutral position. So don't give up strong positions like that in terms of just hunting the leg. But again, maybe we want to stop that running man escape, right? But they've hidden this leg. So like, that's going to be, by the time I go pick up this leg, they're going to turn, right? So by the time I reach for the second leg control, they're probably going to get out, right? So we come back. So another thing we can do is we can look to control the toes. Because for them to do the running man, they want to rotate their foot. So sometimes I'll cup the toes here. And now if they try to do the running man escape, very difficult, right? And then we can cover the toes and start to get the heel. So that's a grip, right? So we landed here, if that's too far away, I want you to cup it and hold it to your chest here. We can make a transition here to grab the heel, and then the elbow over the top. And we're back into the position. But it's just something to think about, right? So like, if double leg control is out of the question, we cup the toes, and I am applying hip pressure in here. I'm not loose on the hips. Loose on the hips so they can move their knee around. But we apply hip pressure in, difficult. So I grab the heel, shoulder over the toes, and then we finish. Again, heel in, hips in, we get the finish. So just a way of using toe control to stop their rotation. You actually see Gary Tonin and recently Jason Hayden used that very well. So it was a single leg control, but they still managed to control the toes so their opponents couldn't roll away. Let's look at like a leg pommel. It's a specific situation and it's a common response. A lot of guys will use one leg as a counter force to pull the other leg out, right? So I'll show you the defense first of all. Let's look at it from this angle. So I'm attacking here. I've got a good bite on the leg, but they can't just pull the leg out. So they bring this foot in, they'll push it against my bottom leg, and they'll lift their hips up, and they'll push and pull. And that gives them the force, this counter force to pull this leg out. Whereas they wouldn't have been able to pull the leg out without the use of this force. But we can counter that, right? So we're here, we're still holding on. We want to switch the grip to grab the Achilles. And I sit up, sit back through. And we switch. It's like a variation of the saddle. So the saddle was a body triangle. What we're doing is a double hook hit. We're hooking around the far hip, and the inside leg is hooking around the inside hip. So we can cup the knee, and we can slide back down to the heel hook. But again, it's another variation of the saddle. See, I'm not too worried about particular body positions or how we cross our feet. There's no absolute right way to do it. The right way is any way we can create hip control, any way we can stop them turning away, and any way we can create a heel exposure. Should we do this one again? So we're inside here, following the foot. They start to press. We want to grab their Achilles, and we want to pull and back step back in. So keep doing that transition. So another one, this one's going to take a lot of repetition. It's very timing based. We grab their Achilles. We're still holding this. We don't want to let them pull the leg out. If they pull the leg out straight away, they're not going to push as hard. We really want them to be pushing here. And I pull back and sit through. Again, we've got a hook here. We can grab our knee and transition straight into the hip hook. But this one's very timing based. Very much. This isn't your option one. This is, they've managed to bring the foot in. They're pulling really hard with this leg. We're holding this leg real tight, so they have to push. And then in that transition, it'll be a quick transition. So another one, we're gonna have to drill a lot. We need to be able to drill it so we can pull it off very quickly. And then we can see the transition in real time and land the timing perfect. So we'll do it one more time. So again, we're holding this leg. The foot comes through. Cup the Achilles. And sit through to attack the off. Alright, let's do another leg pummel. This is a common response, and I think it's like a common response, again, for even guys that haven't done much leg locks, right? They see that I'm gripping the leg, they bring this leg over, kick my bicep to pull the leg out. So let's look at what we can do to counter that. So we're here, they start to kick. I'm just going to switch legs, so I'll cup the knee, and I'll bring my hips out, pummel over the top. Again, in a situation like this where his knee's so far away, I'd probably grab the toes, and we'll do the transition here. So we're here, they're trying to kick the bicep, cup the knee. We bring the top leg out, roll it over, grab the toes, trap into the body, switch to the heel, and secure the heel hook. So again, this one isn't like, it's not a very complicated technique, but it is going to take practice because you're going to have to be able to determine, is that foot really going to cause you issues? If it's not, let's keep attacking this. We have to practice it a lot to work out at what point we switch, at what point it would be wise to switch. Because even in the switch, there is a risk that we lose the position, right? So you want to really attack this leg. We're not fake attacking the leg, we really attack it. And if we really attack it, they really have to defend it. And in that real defense is the transition we want. If we pretend to attack this leg, quite often guys don't defend to the correct level and the timing's all mixed up. So again, not a complicated technique, but one that's going to take a lot of practice to get the timing down. Alright, now we're going to look at a position called reverse X. Again, you can either force the position or it can come up in a specific situation. So now we're playing single leg X. And just like a refresher, the inside foot, we're not cupping the same butt cheek, we're cupping the far one, right? So we're here quite often, guys will push that off and that drops our hips back to the floor, right? And what we do in this transition is we take our foot from the far butt cheek to the middle. And this is going to make sense later, but we want it in the middle because I want to bump their weight to my right shoulder here. So if I kick them, it bumps their weight forward. So as they push this off, that one's going to come underneath and hook the front of the hip here and block the hip. The reason we do this is it links to this movement, right? If I kick them forward, they step with this leg. If we come back, if I block, kick them forward and elevate a little, they post onto their hands here, right? If they're on their hands, that means their upper body is taking a lot of weight. So it means their legs are light. It means we can lift their legs with our legs here. So you can see I'm keeping the same position. What's important here is I keep my knee on the inside, so facing their head. I don't want to bring it through. If If I bring it through, that means we're starting to set up a knee bar here, which is a valid response, but again, the inside heel hook is going to be better. That's the best. That's the top of the hierarchy of leg locks here. So we keep this knee in. We elevate their leg here with our outside leg. So we can even frame here for extra support. So you can see I'm just picking it up. A lot of people teach this move, but a problem guys do is they think instead of picking up the leg, they keep their leg straight and they try and hook here. But they could easily hop over that. We could miss it here, right? So it's a high risk. So again, we're in this position with the weights in the hand. We don't want to kick this leg through and swing it wide, right? I elevate them to bring their leg to me. I grab their knee. I straighten my leg until their knee slips below my knee. Once it slips below my knee, I bring both knees in tight to my chest. And I'm gonna rock up. I'm not gonna kick my legs to come up, I'm gonna rock up. So keep your knees to your chest the whole time. And then fall back to the inside hip. And then we're back to the saddle with the double leg control to attack the inside heel. And the same attacks we did earlier. So again, the reason we don't rock up, right? Let's say they posted, if you post, let's say the reason we don't rock up, say we're here and we bring our knees in. If I kick my legs straight, I actually kick them away. And we end up losing this knee control here. So what's most important is our knees stay tucked and we rock up. So we're in single leg X, and again, sometimes I'll go here voluntarily. So I'll drop my hip and I'll pummel it. But sometimes I'll do it as a response to them clearing this foot. So I drop my hips and hook. Again, we're kicking forward, we're blocking them from stepping, and we're elevating them slightly. Their hands are on the floor here, right? We can post with our right hand on their shoulder. It sort of keeps their weight forward. We don't want them to settle back because then their legs will be heavy again. So if you can see what I do here, right? Their legs on the floor. I lift it. I grab their knee. I straighten my leg and pull their knee past. And I keep my knees in real tight here. And I rock up. And then I fall to the side. Body triangle. And now we're in the same finishing position as the saddle. So we do that again, right? So again, we can do it if they push and we can hook. Or sometimes I'm playing single leg X and I just want to voluntarily do it. So I'll just drop and hook. Again, I'm curling my toes in real time, blocking this. I'm kicking them this way. I'm not kicking them away. If I kick them away, I push this leg far away. I want this leg close to me because this is the one we're going to attack. So we elevate them. We keep their weight with our right hand. Again here, if they post their leg on the floor, what we don't want to do is kick this straight. This is what a lot of people do. But guys just step over it and we miss everything. So here, because their weight's on their hands, their legs are light, it means we can just lift them with our legs. Grab the inside of their knee, pull it past our knee, bring our knees in, sit up, and fall to the side. Body triangle. And then we can do the same finish as we did previous. Something to think about this. Obviously, it's going to be more difficult if you have shorter legs. So, shorter legs make it more difficult. Even me against someone with longer legs, it's going to be more difficult. So, you can use this attack, right? But think of it more as a drill, right? It's a drill to develop skills of catching the far leg. So we're doing this now when our opponent's standing. We've got all this space, we've got all this room to move. And we can develop the skills to do it at smaller spaces. We can do this from butterfly guard. We can do it when we push people on back step. The skill we're developing is the straightening of the leg and sucking the knee back in to attack the far leg. So this is a valid technique, but I want you to think of it as more of a drill. So you want to get really good at this, and then we can start to do it with less space. We can do it from butterfly guard, we can do it from half butterfly guard. It will come up everywhere. But if you started trying to do those moves from those small positions where there's not much space, you're going to have a lot of difficulty. So we develop the skills in this single leg X to reverse X transition, and then down the track we'll build, and we'll get it with less space. Alright, so let's continue on. We started with reverse X and we set it up from single leg X. Again, like I was saying, we set it up with lots of space. So now let's look at it from when our opponent's on the knees, right? So we're going to have the exact same position, right? So we're going to have one hook under the butt. Here, not so important to go central. I'll cup it like a butterfly hook. What's important is I keep my knee out initially. With the bottom leg, we're hooking. We're not hooking at the floor. We're hooking slightly up. So they are wrapping around our weight bearing. When you're playing this guard, do not let them initially cross this knee past their belly button. They're going to sprawl on you. They're going to do what's called a smash pass. They're going to sprawl, they're going to crush, they're going to get around the legs. So it's really important is we use this hook to keep our knee out. Why our knees, especially outside the hip, even here is safe, it's going to be obviously easier for them to push through. Why our knees outside, we're safe, right? So I want you to always be flaring as best you can. This leg's not so important, we're just looking here. So the first one we're going to do is we're going to fall to our side and we're going to reach for that far foot. And when I say reach for the foot, reach for the toes itself. So you want to force in. We'll take an underhook too, right? So we're going to fall in and grab their toes. The way we grab the toes here, you guys can see this grip, it stops them sprawling, right? If they want to sprawl, they want to put the foot out behind them and sprawl their hips to the floor. If we come back, by holding these toes, they're not going to generate anywhere near the same force on a sprawl. And when we're doing this attack, it's the sprawl, that's what counters us. That's what causes us to get past when we attack this position. So again, they're on their knees. We got the underhook, we're here. What we want to do, right, we want to rock up onto our shoulder. We want to extend our bottom leg through. So I'm going to rock up, and I'm going to shoot my hips in, and my knee comes in. So again, we're here. We rocked up onto our shoulder. So we're making this transition. Where we shoot the hip in, bring our knee to our chest, and tip them through. And then again, we finish in the saddle. So some details here to think about, right? If I just do it separate, where here we got the butterfly, we're rocking up onto our shoulder, and we're shooting that leg. And when we shoot it, we bring our hips close, hook behind their knee, and we turn our hips up. So some people think the jiu-jitsu warm-up sometimes going to be a waste of time, but this is a situation where we're actually using one of the moves from the warm-up. So you guys have all seen a reverse hip escape. That's the force I want you to do. That's how we knock them over. We don't knock them over with the top frame. If I'm putting pressure outwards on my knee to tip someone's entire body weight, I actually probably hurt my knee, right? So we bring this knee in. So we bring the knee in, we suck it to our chest, and we turn our hips to the sky, and then they tip. That's how we do this safely. You'd be surprised how many people really injure their knee here, because they see, sometimes watching the competition footage, it's hard to see the details here, so we want to be real safe with this. So again, with the butterfly hook, we got the lower leg below it. So again, we're not here. We're here, right? We're reaching for the underhook. And I don't want a high one, just a low one, that's fine. We're going to fall to our side and grab the toes. Grabbing the toes, we're already bringing their weight onto us here. We want to roll up to our shoulder. And watch how my knee angles in. It's safe to angle in once we're up on the shoulder here. We shoot the bottom leg straight, and we shoot our hips at them. And again, we bring this knee in, and we turn our hips to the sky. Straight ankle lock grip, onto the side, body triangle. And do it for this angle as well. So you guys will see my knee placement here. So underhook, reverse X, grab the toes. So we roll up to the shoulder, we shoot our knee, bring our knee in, and turn our hips to the sky. And the body triangle. So again, once you've developed the skills to do the reverse X from single leg X, now we can start trying it from here. Remember, we want to be on the shoulder. We want to shoot our hips deep. We don't want shallow hips. If the knee's just hitting their knee, you're never going to tip them. Our hips have got to attach, knee comes in, and we turn our hips to the sky. So reverse hip escape movement. That'll keep your knee safe in this one. So let's look at a variation of the reverse X guard when our opponent's on the knees, so like reverse X butterfly we could call it. And the first transition is sort of where we can pull their weight on. They're pretty stable, they're not too concerned, maybe they don't know exactly what we're looking for. But the second one is when they're trying to keep their distance. If you look at my match with Nathan Orchard, this is what happened. I took the reverse X, took the file toe grip. I couldn't encourage his weight on. He was quite cautious, but I was able to push him to his butt. And again, we're going to shoot that saddle. And when I say shoot it, shoot the leg file, we bring the knee to our chest. We scoop up the leg right. So again, we've got the same position. Butterfly hook, and we got the outside hook here. This time, we grabbed the toes, but we couldn't get the underhook here. So again, we got the toes, we're holding it. We're going to just push. We push on their shoulder here. And I use my feet to knock them to their butt. So we just want them here. Once they're here, I grab the lat, because we need a little help pulling ourselves up. Grab the lat, just like we did previous. Roll up to the shoulder. Shoot the bottom leg straight. And scoop it up with the knee. You can see now we've ended up in the saddle, right? In the Orchard match, what I did, right, and I actually think this is a better position than saddle because it completely eliminates that running man style escape here. So we've scooped it up and we fall straight to our side. And I can put my hand behind my back. This might seem weird, but it's a way of trapping the toes and securing the leg, and it stops them rolling out. So as soon as we're here, I don't fall backwards, I fall to the side. And we've actually trapped the toes, and if they try and turn away, quite difficult, they can't turn the other way. What we do is we leave the arm behind the back, we roll them to our shoulder, and we lift our hips and bring our hand through. And it's a real easy finish from here. So again, hips in, heel to the center line. So we'll look at that transition from a different angle. So we've got the reverse X. We grab the toes here. We can't get them to commit weight onto us, so we go with what they're doing here. We push them back onto their butt, switch my right hand from the front of the shoulder to the lap, roll up onto my shoulder, shoot my leg straight, and scoop that leg up. Once we're here, hand behind the back and pull to the side. Now we're pretty secure, they're not rolling anywhere. So watch this transition. I keep the weight on the shoulder, lift my hips high, and bring the hand back through. We can get good exposure in the heel there. I'll do this angle as well. Hooked. Reach through for the toes here. So we've got the toes. I couldn't get them to pull weight in, so they're leaning back, so we go with it. So my legs are pushing, my hands pushing, and I pull the foot. Hand switches from the shoulder to the armpit, helps me roll up onto my shoulder, shoot my leg deep. As soon as it's below their knee, scoop it up. Hand behind the back and fall to the side. Then we can transition. We lift our hips, pummel the hand through, connect the grip, and finish the inside heel hook. So again, you've got two angles there. We've got the one where they're standing. Obviously, that's the initial skill development. But on the knees, we can do it when we pull them into us, and we can do it when they fall away. So anytime the butt hits the floor, we can angle and do that transition. Again, you have to come onto your shoulders. Again, you have to shoot your legs deep. This one's going to take some time to develop. So again, the single leg X one, you could probably develop that in a relatively short period of time and find uses for it in training, especially against lower level guys. For this one, you guys are going to have to practice a lot. You're going to get smashed past. You're going to have to remember to keep your knee flat. You're going to have to know when you can push them back, when you can pull them. And you can use those and interchange them. So maybe if you hit your training partner with both of them, he knows which one's coming. So now we have to mix up the timing. So maybe I push only to encourage weight back on. Or maybe I try and pull them on, get the timing right so we can actually knock them to their butt. If we can't knock them to their butt, it's going to be quite difficult to get that second transition.